It's my immense delight to introduce the speaker of this keynote session, Professor Philip Preconsulo Ermita. Dr. Philip Ermita is currently the Dean of the College of Engineering of University of Perpetual Help System, Dalta, Calamba campus in the Philippines. From 2005 to 2010, Dr. Ermita worked in different manufacturing industries such as ceramics and electronics manufacturing companies. From 2010 up to the present, he is strongly involved in academic development and innovation of engineering programs through outcome-based education transition. He is strongly committed to animate engineering education through engineering research for students' welfare, development, and global opportunities. Let me now welcome Professor Philip Ermita to join us along with his presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude to VIZAG and IFERP for inviting me here to be part of the GWEST 2020. For me to start, allow me to share first my screen. Okay. My topic for today is about embracing the new normal, a new paradigm to engineering programs. I am Dr. Philip Ermita, professional and industrial engineer, and as an engineer, the Dean of the College of Engineering of University of Perpetual Health System Delta, Philippines. You know, the impact of coronavirus on higher education has tremendously happened worldwide. As we all know, over the past weeks, education officials have been forced to cancel classes and close the doors to campuses across the world with response to the growing coronavirus outbreak. Now it's pandemic. Okay, so it's definitely it has consequences for higher education institutions. Universities worldwide have been forced to rapidly scale up online teaching, which has typically entailed unexpected expenditure. Prospective students might also be put off with the physical distancing requirements, and the challenge to shift to online learning looks set to continue at least until the advent of a successful vaccine for COVID-19. Now, most of the universities and colleges of today is forced to do the flexible learning. So what is flexible learning is all about? It refers to the ability to customize one's pace, place, and mode of learning, wherein it has a variety of dimensions and flexible learning path. However, since we're talking about learning, and specifically flexible learning is for all. However, there will be three categories with our students. It can be either in the category 1 without connectivity, with the category 2 with limited connectivity, and 3 is with connectivity, wherein students have stable internet access, mobile devices, and other related resources at home, wherein we can also two different modalities. It can be synchronous and asynchronous. So synchronous means the students can be able to catch up with the time frame of schedules. However, for asynchronous, it can still be a self-paced learning for the students. However, what are the justifications that learning must continue? According to World Bank, every additional year of schooling can be an equivalent to 10% of additional future earnings. Each year of education also reduces the risk of conflict by around 20%. Economic loss from complete school closure is estimated at less than 900 BN in NPV. Delays in the opening of classes could also render jobless a huge number of instructors in private universities and colleges. The loss of learning during the World War II still had negative impact on students' lives 40 years later. The loss of information delays the recognition of both high potential and learning difficulties, which can be harmful in the long-term consequences for the child. School routines are important coping mechanisms for young people with mental health issues. When schools are closed, they lose an anchor in life and their symptoms could relapse. Problems of domestic abuse and depreciating human capital weigh more heavily on those below and those struggling to stay above the poverty line. Allow me to share with you some of the reality or the truth to consider. There are regulatory restrictions covering open and distance education provisions. The outcome-based education per program are heavily premised on face-to-face learning conditions. The system is replete with traditional assessments and methodologies. Higher education institutions vary in terms of transition capabilities, and transition will require robust forms of support coming from the internal and external environment in the community. Allow me to share with you, this is actually I developed a flexible learning framework which can catch up with the different type of students that we have in relation to capabilities of connection, internet connections. So I have here a hybrid class wherein physical online digital diary. There can also be a drive-through lecture delivery wherein the students, all the modules will be delivered and the online class using live meeting will be done. Okay, so that's the three modalities under the flexible learning. And for the assessment, it is based on the objectives and student outcomes. So it comprises of the major exam assessment and module topic exercises. And with that, the output of the student can be measured with its the module of the topic exercises and of course the major exams for related to that course. So how to deliver? So right now, I know most of you are familiar with the application of learning management system, which is now previously used by worldwide by different universities, which is open for distance learning. Like they use the Blackboard, the Canvas, the Schoology, and even the Front Learner. So right now, our university is about to use the Front Learners, which is from the tertiary level and the basic education. So for engineering programs, this can be a new paradigm. So with the use of, because of the limitation of uh, face-to-face physical classes, virtual laboratory nowadays can be a substitute for that, for us to attain the objectives and outcomes of the programs. So there's a lot of application using the devices, the gadgets that will facilitate the learning of the students to support the lecture modules of the professors. Allow me to share with you a sample application of an institution wherein they used they used um, virtual labs in engineering programs.
Quite often, I hear that some things cannot be taught online. But in most cases, this is not true. How can interactive hands-on experiences that students normally get from a laboratory or classroom lab be provided without physically going there? It's not all that far-fetched. From Chile to India to Denmark, let's see how. Kamal Dadlani was raised in Chile. She found that even at the university she attended, the lab equipment wasn't adequate enough for everyone to run the experiment. In fact, Kamal says that 88% of schools in Latin America do not have any lab equipment. This drove the passion needed to create Lab for You, a mobile lab in your pocket. Taking advantage of the 5 billion smartphones around the world, Lab for You is an inexpensive way to put science experimentation in the hands of learners everywhere. Leveraging the built-in sensors of smartphones and tablets, including an accelerometer, speedometer, and sonometer, these devices become powerful science labs with multiple instruments. Students can measure gravity or acceleration in real time, and so on. Initial pre- and post tests conducted to understand the effectiveness of using Lab for You versus traditional science education shows academic performance increased by an average of 34%. Meanwhile, leaders at 12 higher education institutions in India are providing remote access labs for various disciplines across science and engineering. Virtual Labs, a name that says it all, caters to undergraduate and postgraduate students as well as research scholars. Labs are available for computer science and engineering, electrical, mechanical, chemical, and civil engineering, biotechnology and biomedical engineering, and more. Soon to expand to South America, the Middle East, and Africa, Labster is taking the world by storm. Several years ago, 2 university professors from Denmark were looking for innovative ways to capture the natural curiosity of students for learning science. They created virtual laboratory simulations. Grant funding drove the creation of Labster, now used by universities worldwide. Fully interactive labs are combined with gamification elements, such as an immersive 3D universe, challenges, storytelling, and a scoring system. Mathematical algorithms enable open-ended investigations. Labster is a 24/7 state-of-the-art million-dollar virtual lab in your browser with hundreds of hours of science learning content. More than 60 simulations cover a wide range of subjects, including acids and bases, animal genetics, antibodies, bacterial isolation, crime scene investigation, and these are just to name a few. The latest funding will enable further development of a simulation builder platform to allow students and scientists worldwide to create their own virtual reality simulations. With creativity and ingenuity, it is amazing what can be taught online.
Okay, that is actually an example of the virtual labs used by universities nowadays. Okay, so what's the challenge for us to achieving that skills? So actually there are
Quantum computing is a whole other level that will allow
five skills
much more power, much more speed, the likes of which we have not seen.
um, wherein we can top 5 skills wherein the future-proof for career can boost after COVID-19. So in related to data, so there's a lot of data engineers requirement that also falls on the data analysts, data scientists, and engineers for growing. For the cloud, COVID-19 pandemic is likely to accelerate cloud migration and even more. So this, which means cloud architects and cloud IT administrators are required. For cybersecurity, security architects and ethical hackers will be one of the issues here. Digital marketing can also be in demand for digital brand managers and email marketing specialists. For business analysts, so that is also projected to the big demand for management analysts, and which is likely to grow 14% from 2018 to 2028. From short term to long term, so while flexibility is considered as an operational ability, agility is strategic ability, that enables a firm to establish a strategic long-term vision. Well, in fact, flexibility is an agility capability, among other capabilities such as responsiveness or speed. Now, it's quite quick with this pandemic concern. We are challenged to do some innovations from a short term to a long term preparations. Now, with a new paradigm to engineering, we have to be agile, adapt the disposition of openness, give the growth mindset a chance, insist on inclusivity consistently, learn to unlearn the old normal, and embrace the gift of the new normal. So we have to be agile. Okay. Once again, thank you very much for sparing your time with me. And if you have questions, I have here my email address for you to reach me. Okay. Once again, thank you very much and good day to all.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you.